there, it's Caroline again. Welcome to video number 2 of my 3-part video series about what creates a fulfilling life. Remember, the 3 things I share with you in these videos are what I believe complete non-negotiables when it comes to being an active ingredient in creating a fulfilling, blissful, and purposeful life that feels truly aligned with your authentic self. Not the self everyone else thinks you should be. There's a big difference here. So when I think back on my own life and to a time when I felt, really confused and overwhelmed and sort of uneasy about what I should do, I'm taken back to my post-college years. And to me, it seemed like at that time, everyone was thriving in successful careers, making a ton of money quickly, falling in love, starting to have babies, and so forth. And when I looked at my own life, I kind of felt like I had gotten nowhere. Like I'd been wasting all of this time. I was still single and there was no right man in sight, and I was totally confused about my career, and it was frustrating. And I'm sure some of you know what I'm talking about here. In other words, I knew what I didn't want, and that was feeling behind everyone else, obviously, but I wasn't at all clear about what I did want. Well, that's maybe only half the truth, actually. I think deep down, I always knew what I wanted, and I think you do too, but I was afraid to say it and really be that full version of my true self. You see, I think it's really scary to be who you are, because being who you are means making yourself vulnerable. And as most of us know, vulnerability is kind of uncomfortable at first. Like you're literally getting emotionally and spiritually naked in front of the world, and that's just not fun. So you're making yourself subject to potential criticism and judgment from others when you make yourself vulnerable, and that keeps you in your shell in the first place. But the more I realized that I had no freaking idea what I wanted, and the more frustrated I grew, and the more I looked to other people for kind of advice and direction, which sometimes helped, but a lot of times it just added to my confusion and it added pressure. And so when I hit rock bottom during my recovery from a back injury, which I now see as a godsend and blessing in disguise, I decided to turn inward and not only ask myself these fundamental questions about my desires and my life purpose, but more importantly, I actually decided to listen. And what I found was that your authentic desires and your intuition speak in various ways and forms, but you won't hear your inner voice, and you won't feel your body's hints and nudges unless you quiet down a little bit. Your inner voice won't scream at you, and your intuition won't argue its way into your action plan. That's not how they work. We have to create a space for your desires and our intuition to speak, and then we have to ask open-hearted questions and really begin an inquiry that is based on playfulness and expansion rather than expectation and judgment. We spend so much time in the Busy Girl course talking about this topic of really hearing your inner voice and tuning into this intuition and finding the courage to voice your desires, because I really think it's huge, and it's such a complex topic because so many of us women in particular have such a long history of suppressing these parts of ourselves. And so my mini action step for you today is to create some space every day, and preferably in the morning, where you place your hands on your lower belly, which is the center of your intuition, and you simply ask yourself, what brings me pleasure in my life? And I want you to play with this question and just listen to what comes up for you without judgment. Really take it in and just let whatever comes up flow out of you. If you feel really inspired, you can write down these things and turn it into a little journal exercise. Or if you're super duper motivated, you can do one thing each day that actually feels pleasurable to you. And this doesn't have to be anything big or complicated. It can be really small, like enjoying an apple slowly while sitting on a beautiful park bench and giving yourself a couple of minutes to look at people walking by. It can be a 5-minute midday stretch. It can be sending your friend something you know will make her laugh and really fostering that connection with her. So whatever comes to mind, it doesn't have to be complicated. It only has to be pleasurable to you. All right, so this was lesson number 2. Know your authentic desires. Again, this is a journey, not a race. Your desires will likely change throughout your life. And so having tools that put you in touch with yourself and how you change and how you can continually meet yourself as you grow from girl to woman to wife to mother to business owner to grandparent, in no particular order, of course, is huge. And I know you can start this journey right here and right now. Don't forget that you only need your own permission to get started. So in the comments below, I'd love to hear from you, and I would love to hear what you think is pleasurable to you. What comes to mind? How will you create more space for your desires to show up? Alright, otherwise I'll see you in video 3 tomorrow. Thank you for watching. See you there.